Hey Bree, welcome to the summit. I'm so happy to have you
I
here.
am honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I was telling you that as soon as I got the idea for the summit, I knew I really wanted to have you as part of it. You have introduced me to essential oils and they just have helped my creativity so much. So I'm really excited to dive into this topic with you today. But before we do, I'll just read your bio to give everyone a sense of you if they haven't met you yet, and then we'll dive right in. So, Brianna Wilkerson is a holistic health and life coach, essential oils advocate with doTERRA, podcast host, wife and mama, matcha tea lover, and at home CrossFitter. She helps women find peace with food, create healthy habits, and use essential oils confidently so they can feel better, have more energy, and take care of themselves and those they love. You'll leave sessions with her feeling supported and empowered to make simple health changes that fit into your life and use essential oils as natural solutions for your health, home, and family. I'm so just excited to dive into this with you because, like I said, you really helped me kind of dip my toe into this world of essential oils. And I do think it's really important to have someone to kind of lead you through, have someone to be your advocate, to be your guide. It can be a little bit overwhelming. And so I think that what you do for people to just help them get started, help them, think about their health goals and their other goals and ways that essential oils can help them get there. I just think it's so important. So I'm really excited to dive into this with you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Always love talking about essential oils. So this is perfect.
Yes. Well, maybe we can start off really simple where you can just kind of, in case someone's listening and they're like, I've heard about these, or maybe they haven't heard about these before. Maybe you could just describe for us, what are essential oils, to begin with?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, most of us, what you're saying, have probably heard of the phrase essential oils, and we think that it's very great for stress or sleep. And that's pretty much it. Like, we're just like, oh, lavender or tea tree, or maybe peppermint. Like, those are the three top, which are amazing oils. But what essential oils are? They're these tiny microscopic, oil sacs on peppermint leaf, or in a tree bark, or in a grass leaf, or on a flower, or in a flower petal, or in the rind of a citrus fruit, that really give life to the plant. So it doesn't make the plant or tree, it's not essential for it to necessarily live, but it's essential for it to thrive and reproduce. And so, for example, tea tree essential oil, the reason why it's so great for skin issues, or it's antiseptic, so it's great for cleaning, and hair issues too, is because where it's grown, we source ours from Australia. It's grown in a very hot climate. And so without that tea tree essential oil, that climate would be prone to fungus and microbes and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be able to continue to reproduce or thrive. And so when we take that essential oil, which is, again, just a tiny sac that many companies have had to remove all the leaves and the shrubbery and all that and just get the oil, we can have the same therapeutic benefits. And so when you're using even one drop of oil, when it's pure, potent, not contaminated, it's like 50 to 70 times more powerful than an herb. So it's not to say you
Wow.
can't use peppermint. It's just saying when you get a pure peppermint oil, you really need one drop. And
Mhm.
so, each oil is different and has multiple uses as well. And so they're natural. So they have, just at least my parents back in the day would go to they said they had something called a headache bush. I don't know what the official name is for the plant, but they would use it for help with their health. And it's the same thing. It's we're just coming back to the fact that the earth has provided all these things for our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And so again, it's just, a little oil, an actual oil, like a fat extracted from a natural thing in the earth that we could use for our health. So that's kind of what at the basic level.
Yes, you describe it so well. And one thing that we've talked about before, and that I think you really highlighted there, is making sure that you trust the company, the oils that you're getting from. Like you were saying, nothing synthetic in there, that that it's
Mhm.
pure.
Mhm.
I think that's a really important point to make here, that it's not like you just go on Amazon and all the essential oils that you see listed there
Right.
are equal. So
Right.
just something to highlight for sure there.
Yeah, it's the same thing, if you were to go buy filtered water, not every filtered water is created equal, or, anything that you would buy. And so, yeah, I just always encourage people to do their research and just ask great questions around the purity and the quality of their oil before they go ahead and start using it.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Well, so thinking about, there are so many things we can use essential oils for with
Mhm.
health. You mentioned sleep, stress. When we think about our emotions and in particular creativity, so let's say, someone wants to write a book, maybe they're feeling not very inspired, maybe they're feeling kind of lethargic, or they just feel like maybe they, are just having a day where like they're facing writer's block. What are some ways that we can use essential oils as this tool that we can bring into our writing practice to make us feel more creative, to feel more, in tune with our inspiration and the projects that we're working on?
I love what you said, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I think, creativity is, the idea of just like, imagining something or being able to like put things together that wasn't before, but often there's something that blocks us from creativity, right? And so you mentioned that, and it could be, especially for writers, it could be, I'm tired, I'm fatigued. Many of us are trying to write in the morning, write in the evening, or right after having kids, in between their nap time, and you're like, I just want to nap too.
Yes.
And so fatigue is huge, because we all know when we're tired and when we're not sleeping, we are just not operating at our full capacity, both with our left brain and our right brain, right? And so even oils that could help you with sleep are very important, right? So that you could have that more energy. So it's always important to identify like what is blocking you from that creativity. Is it fear? Is it, I know I have a lot of fear when writing. I'm like, am I going to have to delete half of what I'm writing right now? I don't want to write it if I have to delete it. Or what happens when I actually publish this book? So it's very important to identify the emotion that is blocking you from that creativity or whatever that is. And then once you have, then you want to go to a resource, whether it's a person, your advocate, or a handy dandy reference book, and really figure out, okay, what essential oil can help me with that emotion? Because all essential oils actually can support your emotional health. I think most people think of certain ones for when it comes to emotional aromatherapy, but every oil, because it's natural, and whenever you smell something, it hits your olfactory system and then it goes to the back of your brain, your limbic system, which is in charge of mood and memories and behavior. So that's why when we smell something, it triggers like, oh man, I remember the cookies my grandma used to bake, and it brings back this good feeling. Or you smell something that once gave you food poisoning and you're like, and you just go into like, you break out in hives, right? So, our sense of smell has a lot to do with our emotions. And even where we apply, if we talk about, traditional Chinese medicine, or anything, even in regards to yoga, a lot of people talk about chakras, the places in our bodies where we actually hold in emotions as well. So topical usage of essential oils as well as aromatic is important for our emotions. So for example, we talked about, if we want to have more creativity, again, there's so many emotions you can have, so many essential oils you can use. Some of the ones that I started thinking about were, okay, what do I use when I sit down to write? Or what kind of the feelings do I have when I sit down to write my book or any content? And often it's like, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, and I don't know where this is going to go. And so I use a lot of invigorating oils in that case, right? So peppermint is one of the best oils for energy and invigoration. It's called like the oil of buoyancy. Like it's just supposed to bounce you back. And it's really great coupled with a citrus oil like wild orange. And wild orange is really great. It's because it's the oil of abundance. And so imagine if you're pairing those two oils together. One is like peps you up, gets you focused, and one helps you just believe that anything is possible. It's like when you're diffusing that or even applying it topically, it's like you start to kind of open that creative realm a little bit. You start to shift from feeling like this is going to be a waste of my time, I don't have anything to say, to like, okay, now I'm able to write. And sometimes it takes a while for things to take into effect, right? It isn't like you smell something and instantly you feel that way.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to diffuse the oils and you sit whenever you're like working, and then you're going to start writing. Maybe you want to smell it, get some time to start smelling it. Maybe you actually want to take some deep breaths and take 2 minutes before you start writing. I know you talk often about lighting a candle, like, incorporate that into your writing routine and take time with it. And then another one, again, if we want to fight not having energy, is sleep. We want to get good quality sleep. Again, we have to do all the healthy habits around that, but a pure lavender is powerful. Chamomile. There's a blend doTERRA has called Serenity. It is beautiful. It combines all these restful oils together. So really doing both things, like what's going to get us good rest and what's going to give us energy. Now, another thing I think that blocks creativity is fear, is the feeling of like, is this going to be good? It's like, do I have what it takes, especially when it comes to writing? I mean, writing is vulnerable. You've published multiple books, like to put it out in the world and you not know what people think. behind your, like behind your back, people are reading it. And so it's like, what are they going to say? What are they going to, and so to remove that and to get into a place where you could even say some affirmations while smelling the oil to remove fear. There's some great oils like of course, lavender, the adaptive oil, is another one that's actually made for stress and overwhelm. And it's a blend of magnolia, wild orange, and all those different oils. But I love bergamot. So bergamot is actually what makes Earl Grey tea. Like if you smell bergamot and Earl Grey, and actually it's the oil of self-acceptance. And so diffusing that, or just taking a moment to smell that, or smell any of these oils we've talked about, and like repeat some truths to yourself, can really remove the block of fear, remove the block, any block, negative block that's holding you down. So yeah, I think essential oils are great, but I love coupling it with other things we would want to do to open up creativity as well. And so again, tons of different oils to talk about, but those are a few.
I love those. And I just really love how you really get to the root of thinking it, you have to do kind of that mindset work with it. You have to do that self examination of what is blocking me. It's not like we're saying that essential oils are this like magic, elixir that you can just start diffusing and all of a sudden all the ideas are coming to you. Like I think pairing that self-awareness with getting down to what is blocking me. Like you're saying, is it fear? Is it that I need to have more self-acceptance and believe in the worth of my story? Is it that I'm really tired? And then choosing what will kind of support you in your practice to help, like you're saying, get unstuck in that area. And I love your idea. I mean, I think it's so powerful to have it as part of your writing routine. Maybe you have a certain, even like a favorite scent that you diffuse every time you sit down to write, and you could even choose, like, I'm not going to diffuse this when I'm doing my email or working on other things. Like this is just going to be my writing, scent. And then I think your brain starts to really associate that. So when you start to diffuse that, you're like, okay, now it's time to get into, my creative zone, my creativity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I love what you're saying, like making it a special oil or we all have certain things we diffuse for, like, I use lavender serenity at night, and I'm not going to use peppermint at night. That's going to, not going to get me. So what you're saying is like, maybe this is your special writing oil and making it sacred and special. And yeah, coupling it with other things and finding out, through this summit, all the other things you're learning, like tagging on oils with that could really help.
I love that. And I know we're just hitting like the tip of the iceberg too, but you really help walk people through like just the world. It's like infinite possibilities. You can blend your own oils. You can like decide, what really, what are your favorites and put them together. And so we're just really hitting like the tip of the iceberg here, but I think it's so fascinating. Even like you're saying, going into the science of smell, like when I first realized that there are certain scents that trigger certain parts of our brain that make us more energized, that make us more relaxed. Like, it just seems like this amazing tool that so many of us aren't even like accessing our sense of smell to the fullest. So I just love this idea of really using that to unlock your creativity. Maybe briefly, you've mentioned about like diffusing and also applying oils topically. Did you just want to just really briefly kind of, if someone's listening and they're like, those terms intimidate me, like, I don't know what to do, maybe, and I know that you walk your clients through very clearly how to do it, but maybe you could just give us a little sense of what that means, and if someone feels like they're new to oils, like how they can get started.
Yeah, so most essential oils can definitely be used aromatically and topically, but most should be used internally, again, if it's a pure therapeutic grade oil. And so aromatic is probably the easiest way to use oils. A common thing is a diffuser. You're putting a few drops in water. I like ultrasonic diffuser, so using water and the oil together. And then you're smelling that, and your whole family's smelling that. So you don't have to worry about dilution, because I know some people are like kids, or, it's like, it's fine. It's diluting itself. And so aromatically using a diffuser, you can also just smell the bottle. Like, I love sometimes just sitting here and taking some, 30 seconds, deep breaths in. And it's amazing when you're especially smelling peppermint. It's so strong, how it just clears the airways. And, a lot of people even do tapping, right? So you could be smelling the oil and doing your tapping to kind of release those emotions as well. a lot of people love jewelry. So you can use diffuser jewelry. You just, put it on your earrings or a necklace or a bracelet. So you're always having that scent with you. I remember one time I was using frankincense and I put it on a necklace. I went into Barnes and Noble and literally someone was like, what are you wearing? Like, I think you're wearing an essential oil. And she was literally about to start a business with
Oh
like
my
using
gosh.
essential oils to create candles and stuff. And I was like, wow, like, well, this is amazing. And I was just using it for me, but obviously someone else was blessed by that. So that's kind of aromatic. Again, one of the most powerful ways and simple ways. Now, topically, depending on what you want to use it for, depends on where you apply it. But some common places to apply it so that you can get the most impact in your body is the bottom of your feet. Very porous place, and it enters your bloodstream really quickly. So it can go through your whole body. Also kind of safe in the sense you're not going to mess with it, especially for kids. Like you're not going to like go to your feet and mess with the oil. And again, your feet has even reflexology points. And so really great place. And then I just love to do pulse points, right? So my wrist, back of my neck, the spine is a really great place because your nervous system is there, depending on what you're using it for. And so those are just some common places, but there are, again, we could always talk about if you're like, I'm wanting to release this emotion, actually, maybe you need to put it around your heart because it's such a deep held belief, right? And then internally, when the oil, for doTERRA, it actually will say on the bottle, okay, you can take it internally. Internally has its benefits as well. It's going to go through your whole body and really shift a lot of things. So detoxifying. So sometimes we need to detoxify our thoughts, actually. Detoxify, and you can even get that, by putting that topically or smelling it, but even your body, because your body holds things as well. And so those are the three most common ways and that you would use essential oils. And for creativity, probably you're going to do the aromatic or topical usage the most.
I love that. I love what you said about detoxifying your thoughts. I feel like it's such a great way to approach essential oils, almost as like this extra layer that you can add on to your writing practice already. And I know sometimes I'll talk with writers who there's like a certain scene or a certain chapter or a part of their book that feels really heavy, or they keep like, you kind of keep like skittering around it, and I think just having this is like an extra little tool in your toolbox of like, what, I'm gonna release this fear, I'm gonna use this essential oil to help me do that. I think it just helps you feel more confident, like going into the creative process as well, that there are certain things in creativity that are out of our control, but it's like you can do everything in your power to put yourself in the right mindset, like the right emotional state, to really like let that inspiration flow in. So I just love this so much.
So good. Yeah.
Well, like I've said, we've really just kind of hit the tip of the iceberg. And I know from Brie, I've gotten to attend your webinar where you just really walk through, especially for like, I was a total newbie, just how to use essential oils, and especially if there are certain problems that people want to address. So can you tell us more about this free gift, like your essential oils webinar and your series that you're offering to Summit attendees to learn more about this?
Yeah, so I do this intro to essential oils webinar almost every week live. So if anyone wants to attend that, if they sign up for this version, they'll be on my email list. But yeah, this is just like on demand. So it's about, I think I've redone it a couple times, but I think it's about 45 minutes to an hour of really walking you through three basic things about oils, such as they're natural, they're safe, they're effective. And a little bit more in depth into the three ways to use oils, which we just talked about, and then some of the top oils that you can use for multiple things and how to get them in your home. So it's very basic for a reason, just to give you an overall understanding. But as you're saying, that's the tip of the iceberg. But the point is that you're going to get started. You're going to be able to know which ones you want to get started with. And then you can start exploring the worlds of essential oils. So that's the webinar. And then the email series is just kind of, sometimes we don't feel like watching something or we need a reminder. So the email series is just to send out, okay, this is a little bit about this, so you can read it on the go. And then when you sign up, you'll have access to me. You'll get all the things that I'm doing around essential oils. You'll be notified about that. So yeah, that's the gift.
That's perfect. Well, and what are the best places if someone wants to sign up for that? If someone wants to connect with you on social media, you have a free Facebook community, like what's the best? And your podcast is wonderful. So you want to just share all the ways that people can find you and follow you and learn more from you.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm at Made Well Women, and that's where I'm sharing behind the scenes, how I'm using oils, tips and stuff like that. And then I have a Facebook group, the Made Well Women's Health Community, where you can also, it depends on if you're, if you're more on Facebook or Instagram, whichever one, you can join me there. You can get the webinar at madewell345.com/essential oils one-on-one, I think. And we'll make sure to link that in here too for you guys. But yeah, those are the best places to find me. And then whenever you email me or you message me on Instagram, I answer pretty quickly. So always feel free to reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bree. I just have loved getting to talk with you, and thank you for all the work you do, helping women, especially, just take control of our health and use oils as a great partner, a great way to do that. So thank you for sharing all of your goodness today.
Of course, thanks for having me. Enjoy the summit, guys.